You know, the problem is just throwing a Bible away doesn't mean God's Word doesn't work. Just deciding, I don't want to know what God has to say, does not make you immune. In fact, the worst thing you can do is not know what God says. But I'm amazed at the number of people in the world who think that deliberate ignorance of what God says will somehow protect them. What you want to know, friends, is everything God says. Because yes, there's bad news, but if you're honest, if you're really honest, you'll realize we got to hear some bad news. Who in their right mind can look at this world and not hear bad news about it? Anybody who purports to tell the truth about the earth and about the condition of humanity and the condition of this world had better include some bad news, because there's a lot of bad news in it. You want to know everything God says. And He does start with how bad things are. But He doesn't stop there, because His purpose is to redeem it. His purpose is to have us throw ourselves on His mercy, because it's the only place that the redemption is ever going to be found. Never believe people, by the way, the new spiritists especially, don't believe people who tell you it's all going to be fine without God. One of the things you'll see in a lot of recent spiritual writings, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Rhonda Byrne and her crowd with The Secret, and Neil Donald Walsh, and all these guys that are writing a lot of books about spiritual things, is that none of them deal with evil appropriately. They don't deal with it. There's no real answer for it. Only when you come to the Scriptures do you find that God deals with evil straight up. And He says, I am going to judge it. And people say, oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. That's just hellfire and brimstone. Friend, there's more. That's not the end of the story. The end of the story is excellent. What you got to do is understand that His purpose is to redeem. Well, of course, that's why Jesus said you can't serve God and mammon. And if your life is filled with darkness, you're going the wrong direction. But the good news is that the war has been won. Come to the King. Come to the King. Live in the light.